Hi, FE University friends. This is Teresa from the Mercer Library, and I've been asked to do a video to show you how to use Zoom for the first time. So what I did is I backed up and I uninstalled Zoom from my computer so you can see this for the whole process right from the beginning. And so here you're looking at an email that I've received, and this is probably what will happen when you attend a Zoom meeting as an attendee. You'll get an email, and it will have a link that says join the Zoom meeting. You may need this passcode, so you might want to have that or keep that handy when you're ready to do it. But basically, the easiest way to do this is just go ahead and click on the link in the email. Now, I always tell people don't click a link in an email because sometimes that's the way that scammers will get you. But if this is a meeting that you expected and it's from someone you know or a class that you signed up for, go ahead and click on that link. It's going to be fine. So I will go ahead and click that link. And then you'll see what happens is that the system doesn't quite know what to do with that because I don't have it installed yet. So I need to download and run Zoom. So I will go ahead and click that link. And a little download came up over here. I'm using the Chrome browser. It may look a little different on your computer, just depends on what kind of browser you're using, but you'll get the idea. And so I will go ahead and click that download that it did for me, and it's going to install Zoom. This is the software that your computer needs in order to run the meeting. So you do need to do this. And if it asks me for permission to do something, I'm going to have to give it permission to do that. So let's wait and see what happens here. And it's going to take a little longer on your home network connection than it did on mine because I'm here at the library and we have a pretty fast network speed. Okay, so it installed Zoom just like that. And here it is. This is, it's asking me for my name. The default is your computer's login name. So you probably want to change that unless yours is already nice and friendly. Go ahead and type your full name in and then leave this box checked so you don't have to type it every time. And click join the meeting. So when you join a Zoom meeting, you usually have to be admitted by the person running the meeting. So I actually have two computers going right now. So I'm going to just jump over to my other computer. And over there, it's asking me to admit myself to the meeting. So I'll just click that link. And once I've done that, once the administrator of the meeting has done that, it will start making that connection. And so this is going to be a little weird because, like I said, I have two computers running, but you're going to see two pictures of me. I want to join with computer audio first. Okay. So now I'm going to hear myself talking in my own ear, so I'm going to mute that so I don't hear it twice. And basically what you're looking at right now is the other person on the screen. So I know it's me, but you're looking at the other person on the screen. If there were multiple people attending this meeting, you'd see a bunch of little squares with all their faces in it. Now, you can look down here at the controls on Zoom and you can see what status you're in when you join the meeting. So it is usually the default to not have the video running and not have your microphone working. So let me just show you one more time here. You'll notice when I bring my mouse over the Zoom screen, this panel of controls opens up, and when I move my mouse away, it disappears. That's to help keep the screen a little cleaner when you're actually talking to your meeting attendees. But that's a little confusing at first. So just know if you can't see the buttons, just move your mouse. Don't click, but just move your mouse over the window, and those buttons will reappear. So here's where you control your microphone. You've got a little microphone image here, and the red line across it tells me that I'm muted. If I click that button, it will unmute me, and you can see that little green bar starting to appear. That's showing me that people can hear my microphone. So that's a good sign. If you don't see that green in there, it might mean that your microphone isn't working. And I'll talk about that in a couple minutes about how you can look at some of those settings. Similarly, I might want to have my video camera on. You may or may not need to do this when you're taking an FE University class. And in fact, you probably won't when you're taking an FE University class because you're going to be looking at the teacher's screen most likely. But if you are participating in a chat, it's kind of nice for other people to be able to see you. So again, I'll bring my mouse over the screen so those buttons appear. And here's where it says start video. That means it's going to turn on my camera and actually look at me and display my video feed to the other attendees. So when I click start video, now you can see this little box appeared up here. This is the laptop that I'm working on right now. The other one is my computer that's in the background. So it's kind of funny you see two of me from different angles right now, but normally you would see two different people in this view. And so the one that's up at the top is yourself, and then the other attendees will be in the bottom. Here is where if you were attending and you wanted to be able to share something, you could use this share screen button. The person who's running the meeting has to give you permission to do that. So that probably isn't something you'll do as a meeting attendee, but it's just good to know what that means. The participants list will show you who's in the class. So if you click this little up, well, not that one. If you just click on the list, this panel opens up on the side and you can see that I'm here twice, once as the host and once as an attendee, so I can show you all of this. But if there were other attendees, you would see all their names listed. And you can look at these little icons and see which microphone is moving so you know who's speaking at any given time. So you can see that I'm speaking on both microphones right now because both my computers are picking me up. There is a chat feature on Zoom. So again, when you bring your mouse over and you look at these buttons, if you click chat, the chat box opens up right over here. And this is where you can type a message. And you can send a message to just one of the other attendees, or you can send a message to everyone. Be careful if trying to send private messages. In Zoom, there is a chat log kept of everything that's typed in those message boxes. So you wouldn't want to send anything that you want truly kept private. But so when you type in a message, it shows up here. And if other people were chatting, you as one of the attendees would be able to read those as well. You do have the option to record the meeting. There's really no need for you to do that as a meeting attendee, but if you're an administrator or if you need to keep a record for later, you can do that. Everyone will be informed that the meeting is being recorded if you click that button. And there's a way to do reactions on Zoom now. So if someone says something that you love, you can click a little heart and it shows up on your video screen so that everyone knows that you really liked what was just said. So that's just kind of a fun little feature. Looking at some more of the features on the Zoom window here. So this is the full screen button. So if you want to make this window bigger so that you don't have any distractions in the background, if you click that full screen button, it does change the layout of everything. And it hides that attendees list and it hides the chat room a little bit. So you may not want to run that as a usual course. You might want to leave it in window mode so that you can still see the participants list and the chat window. But it's an option if you really just want to focus on the people that are speaking, or if you're looking at the presenter's screen and it's too small, you might choose to use that full screen window to make it a little bit bigger. Let's see what else here. Oh, the gallery view. So the default view for Zoom, I believe, is this one, where you are getting a big view of the person who's speaking and then smaller views of the other attendees up in the top. I personally prefer gallery view when I'm having a meeting. And what that does is it shows everybody's picture the same size across the screen. So when I have, 6 or 8 people that I'm talking with, they're all in their own little boxes, kind of like a little Brady Bunch intro grid there. And you can see everybody at once. It makes it a little bit nicer. It sometimes makes it a little hard to tell who's speaking if they're wearing masks like I am right now, but most of the time people will be at home and they won't be wearing masks during a Zoom meeting. I'm just at work, so I need to keep this on to keep everybody here safe. So those are the biggest features of Zoom. So the confusing part of this menu disappearing when you move your mouse off of the screen, it does clean things up, but then you just need to bring your mouse back over it to see all of your controls down here. So one question that comes up a lot is what happens when your camera or your microphone isn't working? And that's one reason to do some tests beforehand before you're trying to join an important meeting or class. If you click the little up arrow on the microphone button or on the video button, you get some options here. And one thing that you'll notice, this is going to vary depending on your system, but you may have more than one microphone connected. So I am right now talking to you on a headset, so that's the headset microphone that it's using, but my computer also has a built-in microphone. So you want to make sure that the one that you intend to use is the one that's checked. A headset's going to give you a lot better sound quality during a meeting. It's also going to cut way back on feedback for other attendees. So if you can find one, it is a nice thing to be able to use during a meeting. You can use the headphones that came with your smartphone. For most computers, you can just plug them right in, and that will work too. So again, that's something to test before you join your first meeting. So you want to make sure that the check mark is next to the microphone that you want to use. And the same thing with speakers. If you can't hear the other attendees, you want to make sure that the speakers are what you're intending to use. So again, here I'm listening through my headset, but if I intended to listen through my computer speakers, I might need to choose the other one here. Same as system is basically using your laptop or your computer's default. So really the best thing to do is go ahead and choose which one you're intending to use. There is a test speaker and microphone feature, and this is nice if you're having problems. So go ahead and click on that, and it'll play a ringtone into your speaker. You may or not be able to hear that now, I'm not sure, but I can hear it playing through the speaker on my headset. And then this little bar down here is showing me that it is receiving microphone input. So if that is not moving, then you're going to want to, oh, I'm sorry, this is a speaker. So it's testing the speakers right now. This is showing me the output level on that speaker. If it's moving but you're not hearing anything, this is again where you might want to look at the list of speakers that are available and make sure you're using the correct one. And then after you've said, yes, I heard that ringtone, then it will go in and test your microphone for you. And it asks you to speak and then pause so you can hear a replay. And I'm going to tell it that I heard that. It's a little weird because I have it muted right now to talk to you guys. But so that's basically how that works. And again, if it doesn't work, if it's not seeing any input from your microphone, go ahead and click on the list there and make sure that you're using the right one. And once you've said yes on both those questions, it'll say everything looks good and you can click finish. So that's pretty much the features of using your mic. You want to make sure that you are muting yourself when you're not speaking. Otherwise, the other attendees are going to pick up any background noise that's in your house, any coughing or sneezes, or if you take a sip of coffee, they're going to hear all of that, and it's distracting for the other attendees. So do make sure that you're muted when you're not speaking. Of course, you have to remember to unmute yourself when you want to talk, and that's one of the funny parts of online meetings. Hey, can everybody hear me now? So that's basically the settings that are under this microphone option. Then there are similar ones under video. You can check the webcam that you want to use if you have more than one attached to your computer. I just have the one on this laptop that I'm using. This is also where you could play around with virtual backgrounds. I don't know if you've heard of those. A little bit too much for this class today, but if you're interested in that feature, this is where you find it. And that's where you can, if you have a green screen, you can use that, or your computer can do a little bit of complicated math to try to isolate you from the background and put you in some fantastic settings. And there are video filters to play with too. There are also some video settings in here. And it can give you the option to change the ratio of your screen, widescreen versus regular, and some other features too. But for the most part, you shouldn't need those if your camera is working. You have the option to invite other participants during a meeting. Again, if you're attending a class or if you're not the meeting organizer, you probably won't need this, but it's there just in case you do. The other thing I want to point out, because I worked on this with somebody the other day, is if you just can't get your speaker or microphone or my video camera to work, there are some privacy settings in Windows. I'm on Windows 10 on this computer, and there are some privacy settings that control whether apps can use your camera and microphone or not. So you may need to change some privacy options. So to get to this, I went to Windows Search and I just typed the word privacy, and your privacy settings was one of the options from that search result. And I clicked on that, and under here it says app permissions, and here's camera and microphone. You would need to go in and make sure that camera app access is on and microphone app access is on. If either of those things are off, that would be a problem. And then also, if they're on already, you could scroll down in the list and just make sure that the app that you want to use is actually does have permission. So there's a list here of apps that have asked for permission to use my microphone, and you can see some of them I have turned on and some of them off. So those are places that you could check if Zoom is just not able to get to use your microphone and camera. It may be in these privacy settings on Windows. If you have a different kind of computer or a Mac or an older operating system, there may be features like this as well. I'm not as familiar with them, so you might want to poke around in that beforehand just to make sure that those things are working. So I think that covers all the biggest things that I wanted to talk about today. I am at the library. I'm on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so you can feel free to give me a call and ask for some help if you can't get this working on your own. FE University is going to go ahead and do a test meeting before some of their fall classes start, so Keep an eye out for that. And again, if you need any help, just give us a call at the library. Thanks.